Hello, Security Token Market. Welcome back to another great interview. I'm joined here by Shannon Robnett, who is a fourth-generation realtor, a second-generation builder and technologist. Shannon, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kyle. I'm glad to be here.
I'm excited to talk a little bit about tokenization, blockchain, all this digital stuff. Let's talk about your background and what got you into this space.
Well, you know, I've been in construction and development for 27 years. We built everything from schools, hospitals, city halls, jails, police stations, a lot of multifamily, a lot of industrial, and we just saw the need for capital to be infused in the market, but then in that, we saw how illiquid real estate investments were, so we really got into the blockchain space to solve that problem.
Right, fascinating. So let's dive into that more. How does it solve that problem for you?
Well, you know, the reality is when you tokenize real estate, you're allowing people to have control of that share, if you will, and you're able to put that on a secondary market where that can trade, that liquidity can pass, equity can be realized and turned into something more.
Interesting, fascinating. And then there's so many opportunities for collateralization and getting liquidity.
You know, you think about it, if you make a $100,000 cash investment into a piece of real estate, there's really not a lot of liquidity there. But then you bring in the DeFi aspect of that. Now you're able to reliquify a lot of that. You're able to make another investment, right? So now you have two investments in that space. Let's say it appreciates. What are you going to do? Refinance it? Or you could sell some of the tokens off. Right. There's so many things you can do. And the space is so exciting because it does offer things that we never thought about or always had hoped we could do that now we're finally able to do.
I love that point about liquidity because when you're talking about creating liquidity for one asset, which allows you to invest in a second one,
right.
You've now exponentially multiplied the investments going into the space, which is going to continue to develop innovation and new opportunities and create
Absolutely correct.
more and more opportunity for these industries, especially in real estate where there's so much capital and so much of it is locked in these illiquid structures.
Well, and the other thing is, talk about disruptive, right? I mean, the only way you can get your money, your equity out is to pay a bank. And when you've done that, you've paid them a fee to give you your money back. Now they're charging you interest on your money, right? Well, DeFi changes that. There's an opportunity there for you to leverage that. Tokenization allows you to sell pieces of it, to liquefy. There's so many opportunities that really take it outside of the realm of finance as we know it and really drops the cost of doing those things and makes it a real level playing field for a lot of people.
So how are you actually leveraging blockchain and DeFi in your current business?
So currently we deal in the syndication space where syndication is just a fancy word for partnership. And we bring limited partners or passive investors into our ecosystem that they want to invest in real estate. They don't know where, they don't know how, they don't understand why an apartment complex in Minneapolis might be a good opportunity for them. We create that educational and informational platform, allow them to invest with syndicators who are vetted and have the proper systems and structures in place that make it a successful syndication. Out of that, they're able to be involved in that. And in that, there's the transparency that comes with the digital asset space that allows blockchain to tell you who's in what's happening. Smart contracts now execute on my behalf, so we don't have to trust the evil developer, right? I mean, because there's human error and there's stupidity, right? This takes both of those out, right? And eliminating one is a beautiful thing, but eliminating both is amazing. Then you're able to take that and you're able to put that into a secondary liquidity market because not everybody's investment timeline horizon is the same.
Right.
So when you get into that syndication, it's in the lead syndicator's eyes of when things happen and how things happen. But tokenization makes that a level playing field where anybody can change their process at any point.
That's a great point. So for you and your business, are you looking to just kind of aggressively scale, or have you found yourself preaching the gospel to many of your other real estate connections?
You know, I've found that in this space, the best way to aggressively scale is to preach, right? Because we are in such a new space. I mean, this really is the opportunity for the playbooks to be written, the education to be had, and for people to establish themselves in this marketplace allows them to become the one that people go to for scale. And we've seen where we've provided a solution for syndicators to come because they have too much deal and they're looking for liquidity, they're looking for capital, and we've then created a marketplace where people who have capital and no idea what syndication's about and wanting to know how to get into that, but remembering 2008 and not wanting to get involved in the single-family home crisis again,
Right.
wanting to be involved with professional-grade real estate. So we've really kind of blended that, but we found that the easiest way to attract the investor is to educate. Very similar to what you guys are doing with your platform through the education process and really making sure that people understand the world that is changing around them.
We got to start.
Absolutely, and I really respect what you guys are doing because it is taking it to the masses and it's giving them what they absolutely so desperately need and don't even understand what they do need.
And sometimes it's funny. I mean, it's certainly not about me on this interview, but what we found is that there's a lot of times that there's the fundamentals, the basics that everyone's afraid to ask and no one's on the same page about, right? Like, what is tokenization, right? A lot of people can't answer that question, and if they can't answer that, we're never going to be able to get anywhere.
Right. And the funny thing is too, from my side of the coin, if you will, there's been so much of this that has been done in the same old way. We're doing a share, we're doing a paper contract, we're doing all these things where really in the syndication space we've been fractionalizing multifamily and industrial forever. Now we're just doing it in a digital format that allows it to be immutable and uncorruptible, right? And so we're really kind of already doing it. I'm just explaining why we're now doing it with the computer instead of sending you something in DocuSign, right? So but I completely agree with you that it is about the education, because even in this room full of really intelligent people, there's been a lot of different views on that same subject of what does it mean to tokenize.
Exactly right. So we'll have to see. That's what we're all working on together.
Yeah.
But looking forward now, where do we go from here? Where's the next iteration and innovation in this space for your business and for the industry?
Here's the thing that I see in what is going to happen. So we're working on a platform right now with the syndicators. Our next step is, once we've brought that syndication and that capital, and we've bought and we've tokenized large-scale commercial assets like multifamily, then to turn that educational process onto the tenants. Because the reality is, if you were taught anything about saving money, you were told to put it into the bank. The bank's going to give you 0.00% interest. They're going to steal your money from you. Inflation's going to eat it. But we're going to take that platform and we're going to allow you as the tenant to invest in your own apartment complex at $100, $200 a slice, using that as your bank account, using that as a way for you to grow wealth so that you can afford your own home. That's going to change banking as we know it. Then looking at the underwriting space and how you're going to be able to now be able to finance in a well-accepted way for large-scale development deals and large-scale industrial deals, where you're able to come to the market and get liquidity from that and tokenize a loan program. Those are the next steps for us that we see. But with the crowd that's around here, that is happening very, very rapidly. I mean, I'm watching a couple of guys work on a bond deal right now that was mentioned on a panel we were on earlier, and how that's coming together because we have the right people thinking about this has to change. The way that we've been doing it for 150 years is not designed to make you and I wealthy. It's designed to keep those with the wealth in power of your wealth.
That's fascinating stuff. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. It was great to be on.
The one question that we have left is that there's anyone that wants to get involved, wants to hear more from you, your perspective, or find a way to collaborate with your company. How do we do that?
It's easy. Just go to shannonrobnett.com. It's an easy way to find me. That way I never forget where I'm at.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right.